Hello?
Hi, hello, this is Daniel.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Daniel, this is Tommy Bryson. How are you?
Hi, how's everything, man?
Everything's good. When this call is going to be recorded and potentially uploaded to YouTube. How can I help? And by the way, I'm late. I know. I was on a call with someone and it got pretty serious, so that's why. I apologize, brother.
No problem, man. No problem, man. I'm glad to hear from you, brother. I
All
watch
right,
your
brother.
videos all the time.
All right. Thank you, brother. How can I help?
No problem. All right. The thing is, I'm trying to fix my credit, but I got myself into I'm like in a situation. I'm
Okay.
on SSI, and I'm
Mm.
barbering on the side off the books, and
Mm.
I'm having an issue with like income and credit and stuff like that.
Mm.
So I just wanted to know, what would you think? My credit
Okay.
is six 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 658, I think.
50. All right. So let's deal with the first problem here before we get to the SSI, the off the books job, and the income problem. Okay. The first
Right.
problem here is the whole credit issue. What's going on? What happened? How you messed it up? What's going on?
With the credit, my mother used to get things under my name when I was
Mm.
when I was younger and stuff. So I had a little bit of debt on the credit, but I got a lot of things erased off of it.
Okay.
So now I'm still just trying to pick it up, and I really want like a Capital One card, but I'm stuck with like the two worst credit cards in the world.
Which
I
are?
got Premier, Bank
Mm-hmm.
Bank Bank of Premier, and the Credit One.
Mm.
So I mean, I've built it up a little bit, but I'm like stuck. Like I can't do nothing else.
Do those cards have annual fees or anything like that?
Yes.
How much?
So the Premier Bank, I think it's like $100 plus all type of other different fees, and the Credit One is a whole lot cheaper. It's
All
like it's
right.
gonna be like $8 a month after this year.
That's ridiculous.
Which, yeah, it's still crazy, but that's the only thing I could get
All
right
right.
now to
So
build.
so the first thing is let's look at the ground level here before I give you like some actual like action steps here. Why do you want to fix your credit so bad?
Eventually to buy a house.
Okay. Is that the only reason?
I just want to have all around good credit. So if it comes down to it, if I need a car or
All right. Stop
anything,
right there. Stop right there. You shouldn't be thinking of credit to buy a car. It's liability.
right,
And you can
right,
always afford to buy a used car, 3 to 5 years old, for cash by saving
right,
out the money. If you get into this whole car payment thing, it's going to steal a lot of potential wealth for yourself in the future. Does that make sense?
right. I'm actually on the car payment right now.
Ridiculous. How much money do you
Right,
owe?
on the car, like $10,000.
Wow. How much is it worth?
I'm not sure. It's a Mazda 6 2015.
Okay. So this is for example, when did you buy it?
I bought it last year.
So last year, 2020, you bought a 5-year-old car. And how much did you buy it for?
I think it was 14,000.
14,000. Okay. Now, okay, so you're on SSI just to get this whole story together here. And we're
Right,
still on the credit factor here, right? But you're on SSI, you work at a barbershop and all this other stuff.
right.
And I'm guessing, are you using this car to do, for example, like DoorDash, Uber Eats, something like that, or just to take you from point A to point B?
Just a point A, point B.
All right. So my response is going to be some things you want to pay off, some things you want to get the heck rid of. So this means
Right.
probably this car right here. If you, it's a 5-year-old car. Depreciation usually slows down by that point. So potentially, if you can sell this car for 8,000 or 7,000, right? You sell
Okay.
this car. You can sell, by the way, a finance car is possible. You just ask your the person that actually holds your loan. You sell this car, and you cut your differences, and you pay them back whatever money it is, and you buy a $1,000 or $3,000 car to hold you up while everything gets figured out. But
Okay.
you don't need this right here. How much is your car payment every single month? How much do you pay for that stuff, bro?
About 333.
333.
But my
And
Social
what?
Security takes like over most of my bills, and whatever I make on barbering, that's what I run with.
I understand, but you gotta understand, right? When you're running this math of like I have this thing that can take care of this thing right here, whether it's Social Security, whether it's your whole job, this what you're paying for is basically a liability, and your
Right.
income, the only passive income in a way, is your SSI, and that's gonna. By the way, once you start working on the books, it's gonna go away, right? Most likely, or it's gonna get depreciated a little bit, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, all right. So let's just do some quick math here. You're spending $333 every single month, right? When's your payoff date?
I'm not sure.
You gotta find it out, brother.
Okay.
You gotta find out, when do I finish paying off this car? Not that it matters.
Well,
I don't want you to finish paying it off at all. I want you to get rid of this car. But let's say, for
right.
example, it was like 5 years. Every single year you're spending, for example, $3,996 in this car.
That's
A lot of
exactly what
money.
it is. 5 years.
Yeah. So $3,996 on this car that you're spending on right now. Now, let's say over 5 years, if you invested this money at a 10% return, you would have somewhere around $26,000.
Right. Sheesh.
Double, almost triple of the amount of money that you would actually have. That's the big difference with this whole game. Now, if you said, Tommy, well, I'm going to use my job and my little income on the side with the SSI thing to put it into these investments, it's a different picture here. That's why it's so important. For example, how much money do you bring in, for example, every month?
With the SSI or barbering?
Both.
Okay, so I make with the SSI, it's about $8,600 every
Per
year
month?
with this.
Okay, I'm saying per month. Per month
About $825 with the SSI,
Okay.
and maybe give or take, it's up and down between maybe like maybe like 800, give or take.
With the
It's up
barbering?
and down. Yeah, with the barbering.
Okay, 3 months, you got a used car.
Right.
Right? You buy
Exactly.
a fresh new used car and you're good to go. But you gotta understand, right? When you buy something with a $1,600 income, you didn't buy this car because you could afford it. You bought it because you thought you could afford the payment. Am I right here?
Right. Exactly.
That's not how you do math. You do math, can I afford to pay cash for this thing? If the answer is no, the answer is you don't buy it. You buy something used, maybe like a little beater car. But in reality, you're only going from point A to point B. You're maintaining
Right.
it. Toyota Corollas usually work very well and they always turn on. Right? Now, as far as paying this whole Premier card and the whole other card here, $100 and the $8 per month, the answer is most likely, the big thing is basically, I would try to get a secured credit card right now.
I tried that. Capital One does not want to give me anything, and that's my bank. Every time I try to fill out for a secure card, I can't get it. Like, they don't want to approve me for nothing. Any big bank does not want to approve me.
There's this credit card improver app. I forgot what the name is. They have like this blue card thing that they actually do.
I
Oh,
also have
self. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, self.
I also have that one too.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is,
But
right, it didn't take
right.
you a little bit to mess up your credit, so it's gonna take you a while to fix it again, right? So if you're using self, my big thing would be, hey, I'm gonna use self to try to rebuild my credit because it's all just the payment history and also the amount of money you actually borrow. But I would cancel out those two cards right there. Your credit is gonna take, for example, a little damage right now, but it's not like you're gonna be buying a house anytime soon either. So you don't have to worry about that stuff, right? So I'd probably cancel out those cards. Boom, I'm done with those expenses right there. And then all I got left is, for example, this self card. Once your credit score starts to go up and up and up slowly like it should, and those have like a self card, I think, the answer is eventually you can go ahead and apply, for example, for a Capital One secured card. But in reality, the truth is, right, Daniel?
Right.
You don't need credit to buy a house. You just want to make sure you don't have bad credit when it comes to buying a house. Because what they do is, for example, something called wow, I'm blanking out today. But what they do is basically they analyze your whole profile as a potential borrower, and then they say, hey, we're gonna approve you based on your income, based on how much money you owe, and based on, for example, your whole payment history.
Okay.
So you don't need credit to go ahead and buy a house. It's fake news.
Right.
Okay? So the main thing is, as far as like you trying to build credit and all this stuff, great. But I wouldn't be spending money on these two credit cards right here. So I would just stick to self, cancel those ones right there, and let it just grow over time. That's what I would do right there.
Okay.
It's called manual underwriting, by the way, what the bank does to make sure they can actually be approved at our credit. Okay?
Right.
Now, here's the next topic here. That's your credit thing taken care of. The car thing, you want to sell that car, find out how much is actually how much you actually owe on it, what it's actually worth. If you can pay it off, save up money, pay off the difference, you're done there. You buy a little beater car, it turns on, you're good to go. But now you owe less than $10,000, right? Because you're done with that debt. Now, when it comes to the whole SSI thing and off the book thing, I live in the Bronx, all right? So I know a lot of people that they have these benefits coming in, like whether it's coupons, food stamps, whatever it is, and they're worried that, hey, Tommy, if I start working, I'm gonna have an issue here. I'm not gonna get my benefits anymore. Now, what happens is that keeps you at a certain level. It's called the poverty level forever. So that's not what you want. You can't be worried about that whole game. If you are healthy and if you're able to actually work in any type of capacity, the answer is trying to keep things under the book in some ways going to hurt you, because now you're not filing for taxes. When you want to buy a house, it'll be a problem also, right? Exactly. So the idea is you gotta let go of this fear. You gotta be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna get this check anymore, but that's fine because I'm gonna make more money. It's like saying, well, I have the potential to go out there and get a trade job, make $60K or $80K a year if I go full throttle, but I don't want to give up my $800 a month. It makes no sense.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So I know a lot of barbers, for example, they make a decent amount of money. I'm guessing the reason you make $100 is basically probably building your clientele for right now. Does that sound right?
Right, exactly. Well, yes. I've been cutting hair for a long time, so I've got a steady base of clientele.
But just $800 a month?
Right now I'm cutting out of the house. Oh. I had my own barbershop. I lost it because I went on vacation in Florida. I broke my leg, so I had to close the barbershop. But it was only me, and I was in like a motorcycle garage. So it was only me inside the garage, and I was cutting hair by myself. I was making like $1,000 a week over there.
Do you have your whole license and stuff like that?
No.
Get that, man.
Right.
And work for somebody else.
I definitely need. I have about $6,000 saved, and I have 2 buddies that want to open up a barbershop with me.
Okay, so stop right there. Stop right there. Mm-hmm. $6K, $3K probably most likely that covers your whole car debt once you sell the car. Boom, you have $3K left. Take $1K, that's for emergency. You have left $2K. You can grab that $2K and say, I'm gonna get for example, my whole license thing. Now the reason I'm telling you that is because basically you start a business with your friends and your buddies. If it goes wrong, then you have $0.
Right.
But if you do it this way, you have no debt, you have emergencies for a little bit at least, and you also have, for example, your whole license. So now if you work for somebody else, you rebuild that up, and in 3-6 months you'll have that $6K again or even more. So now you can take on that whole risk again, but in a different position. Does that make sense?
It does.
Patience is key.
Definitely.
I don't want you to be doing this whole business thing with this car that you're gonna start to hate because it costs you so much money and all this debt that you actually have right now, right?
Right.
But think about, for example, your life in 1 year. Well, in 6 months. 6 months, you don't have. By the way, you have any more debt aside from like the whole car thing?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah. So think about in 6 months, you have a paid off car. You have some emergency funds. On top of that, you got your license. You're working for somebody else now. You're making you already have your clientele, right? So you're making your regular money of $800 plus whatever new clients are actually going to flow through you now in this new barbershop.
Exactly. Right.
Now,
exactly.
In these 6 months, obviously, I want you to go to legit, brother. It's a lot more easier to make money legally in the United States than it is to make money illegally. This whole thing is going to keep you on the poverty level for a very long time. And if what you want is to make yourself better and say, Tommy, I want to buy a home, I want the things that I want in life, all these things, you can't do it this way. It's going to be impossible.
Yeah, absolutely right.
You feel me? So it's all about you get your license, you pay off this debt, you save for emergencies, and reconsider this whole going on vacation thing when you're broke. Because a lot of times
I had over $6K before I went on vacation.
Yeah, but you're still broke.
Right, exactly. You're right.
Let me tell you why you're broke, right? It's not because you just have $6K. You got to budget for these things. And you got to understand that if I'm going to go, it's kind of like when I go out for I have a YouTube channel, right? And whenever I go on vacation, I got to save it for an entire year until I go on vacation. On top of that, when I go on vacation, I have to have at least double the videos ready in case anything does happen to me. It's all about having, in a way, insurance. If you have a business and you know something can go wrong, but you never expect it to go wrong, it can happen. You got to make sure, hey, I have people that, by the way, when you have a barbershop and it's just you, it's not a business. It's just like you being self-employed. And when things go wrong, you're messed up because there's no other way to make income. But when you open up, for example, a shop, and maybe in a nice location, doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't really matter. But you have 2 other barbers there, and you want to go on vacation, do it. If you break a leg, this will pay you money. You know what I mean? It's a big difference.
The shop's still paying for itself.
Exactly. Right. So it's a big difference. And when it comes to whatever you want to do in life, you save up money for it. You want to buy this car, save up money for it. Want to go on vacation, save up money for it. It's about enjoying life, but also understanding that you also have responsibilities, and you got to make sure everything's on point.
You're definitely right, man.
All right, brother. And lastly, as far as like a little plan here, because we already figured out the debt part, man. And in little with the money you have right now, you're debt free by this month. So that's an amazing feeling. Once you're debt free, you also have that 1K saved up for emergencies. Now the next step is, although I know you want to save up for this whole like business, the idea is most likely my biggest thing would be like, hey, save up for 3 to 6 months for the emergencies first. Once you have that money set there, now you can say, hey, I'm going to save 10-20% of my income or even more towards just grabbing this money and saving up for my own shop, right? Once you have the money there for your shop, you go ahead. But now guess what? It's a different idea, because now you have 6 months or 3 months to say, hey, if this doesn't work, I'm good to go for 3 months. I ain't got to worry that much.
You're absolutely right.
Now, once you have this shop, I know business, right? It's probably going to be slow starting out, but you sound like an entrepreneur. You sound like you know what you're doing. Step by step, as you keep growing it, you get some barbers in there. You start building some culture, a little branding, everything else, social media, YouTube, potentially, take advantage of everything possible. Once it starts to grow, the biggest thing is going to be, well, it's a business, it's official, I pay taxes, all this stuff. Investors, retirement. That means 10 to 20% of your money should be going towards retirement. And that's also going to save you money on taxes. On top of that, also, if what you want in your heart, and you're telling me, I want to buy my own home, you know what I mean? That's important to me. I don't want to rent anymore or whatever. The answer is start saving up for a down payment for a home in your area. That means saving up 10 to 20% for a down payment. Now, the rule I follow with real estate is the property I buy cannot exceed 33% of my monthly income, including all the expenses on a 15-year mortgage. That means the mortgage, potentially PMI, taxes, insurance, maintenance, everything included cannot exceed more than 30% of my income. Now that means for sure that basically you still have a bunch of other income to pay towards the mortgage to finish a lot faster. So I'm saying, if you do this correctly, you buy a home following these rules, you put an extra 15% towards this mortgage while you're investing 50% also into, for example, your retirement fund. Well, in 8 to 9 years, you're done paying off this house. You're actually a home owner, not financing it for the next 30 years like you are kind of like with your car for the 5 years, right? You own this home, but also in 9 years, you've also been investing into your retirement. So you also have that money there that's built up also. But now it's a different picture. You have a business, you have a paid off home, you have an emergency fund, you have no debt, and you have a lot of income to say like, hey, you know what I want to do today? I want to go on vacation or whatever I want to do. You can if you want because you have the money there. If you want to invest more, invest more. Want to open up another shop? Absolutely. You can if you want to. Does that make sense?
Definitely does, Tommy.
Yeah, that would be my plan for you, Daniel. And working for somebody else, for example, is going to limit the risk of like, hey, I'm paying the rent here. That's your responsibility. You know what I mean? So it's more like while you're building yourself up, you don't want to have so much like so much problems that could possibly collapse you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely right.
All right, brother. You have any more questions?
I'm also doing the YouTube thing now too.
Awesome. Tell me about it.
I'm trying to build up. I have it's like a more motorcycle based, dirt bikes and stuff like that. Street ride and stuff like that. I'm trying to build up. I have 525 followers already.
Is that how you broke your leg?
Yep.
That's insane. That's so scary. I'm a wussy though. But let me tell you this, man. When it comes to YouTube, it's simple. And before I tell you how YouTube works, I want to say one thing. Not every hobby has to be monetized, right?
Right.
If dirt biking makes you happy, you genuinely enjoy it, you like hanging out with your friends, all this stuff, Enjoy,
Right.
have fun, right? If it don't make you money, you keep doing it. It's still making you happy. You know what I mean? However,
Right.
if you want to make it like a business on YouTube, the thing is, I don't know how that whole game works, but I do know the system of business. The first thing is you want to find out what your competition is actually doing. That means I would go out there and I'll find the top 10 channels when it comes to dirt bikes and all that stuff. I'd find out exactly what they do, how they post, the best thumbnails possible, the most popular videos, what their Instagrams are like, when they, everything about them I'll find out. And my job is to basically create better content than them, but follow that blueprint. You don't have to reinvent anything. The blueprint is already there. But the big story is, Daniel, there's only one Daniel. With your story, with your experiences, so you include that as a part of your videos also. It's all also about, for example, Brandon. You know, I could just give you finance information, but if you don't know me, you can just go to somebody else. But if you know me, you trust me, hey, I'm going to go to Tommy today. You know what I mean? So it's also about interjecting a part of you into your channel, but following the blueprint that they actually created for you, they can actually basically lay the foundation for your entire channel. Now, that means, for example, posting a lot of videos. It also means your thumbnails are very important. Whatever you don't know, the answer is on the internet already. There's YouTube, there's Google, there's books, everything's out there. So find out as much as possible on the YouTube algorithm. The whole basic idea is basically that YouTube is a search engine. So if your titles are not being searched up, then nobody's going to click on it, right? So it's more about making content that your audience is looking for. It's also very important that you know exactly who your audience is, right? My audience is basically, for me, when I picture them, is somebody that is sitting down, maybe working a job they don't like, and they want to find out exactly how can they surpass this, or they want financial freedom. That's my audience. You know, that's what I think about when I think about my audience, and that's what my content is all about, you know, because I know exactly what my audience is. So for you, it might be the person that's a motorcycle enthusiast, wants to know, learn about it, wants to know the best tricks, wants to know how to maintain it, how to buy them for cheap, how to flip them for whatever. There's a lot of content you can make around this whole topic, right? But again,
hell yeah,
you make all this content, you create it. In 18 months, it'll tell you, hey, this is good or is it bad? If it's making you money, great. If it's not, if you like it, you're still having fun, you keep making content. You only fail when you stop uploading, when you give up. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Definitely. Yes, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is, brother. But it all starts with you first, okay? That's kind of like a side hustle, because even when I was doing YouTube, I had my job, I had all that stuff until it worked out for me, right?
That's exactly what I tell my friends. Like, I don't do YouTube to get paid. I do it because I just like doing it. It's fun.
And those are the people that win. People that enjoy what they do. When it's monetary, you'll give up before it makes you any money, because only an insane, crazy person is going to keep uploading like videos for free, spending hours editing, and not making a single dollar from it. But if you love it, you're just crazy enough to make it happen.
You're absolutely right, Tommy.
All right, brother. Any more questions?
That'll be all, man. I appreciate you, my brother. It's really nice talking to you, man. I watch your videos all the time, brother.
All right. Thank you, man. I'm sorry. Again, I called in late. And on top of that, these calls are free, but they're also not a one-time thing. So you can always schedule a call when you're actually ready if you want to talk about anything else. So in a few months, man, if you want to call me back when you did this whole thing with this car, feel free to. I'll be happy to take your call. All right, brother?
All right, Tommy. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Peace out. Have fun, man.
All right, brother. Later.
All right. All right, guys. So that right there was Daniel. You know, and a lot of times people are drowning, and all they got to do is just stand up. You ever thought about that? Like, imagine drowning in a pool, and all you got to do is stand up. That's all you got to do. Tommy, I have $6K in savings. Okay. Look at this. $3K, you're done with that car. Okay? $2K, you maybe save $1K for like emergencies, you get your license, and potentially you have enough money to go ahead and basically buy a little car for yourself, a little beater. But now guess what? You're not in debt anymore. You have a license, you have a job, you have prospects. If you want to do something else, great. Now, by the way, I didn't tell them, for example, about any other jobs, because basically a lot of barbers, they love what they do, man. And I grew up around a lot of barbers. My mom owned a salon. A lot of people that I know are barbers also, and barbers can make a lot of money. So if that's your calling and you love it, you can do that. if you can enjoy it, you can also make a lot of money. Making $1,000 per week from your entire little garage thing, it's awesome. It's 4K doing what you enjoy. Now imagine if back then he didn't think about like, hey, going to Florida, riding my bike, all this stuff. And he said, you know what? I'm going to save this money, open up a shop. Now he has himself 1K per week, and he also has 2-3 other barbers, and then he went on vacation, and then he broke his leg. Wouldn't matter, right? It wouldn't matter. So that's why I love so much about talking to you guys directly, because sometimes the answer is right in your face and you just don't know it. When you tell someone, hey, in 5 years you could have $26,000 invested, but instead you have a car that's only worth like $5,000. Does that make you feel better about yourself? The answer is obviously it won't. All right, that's what I like to do. Show you the truth with the math and with the numbers. And by the way, guys, okay, I had an amazing last call, and that's why if I look a little drained in this video, it's because of that. It was a very enticing call. So if I was like, Tommy forgot this, forgot that, it's just a part of the game, okay? It happens every now and then, okay? But if you want to call me and talk to me one-on-one, well, link down below. All calls are free from Monday to Friday, but I will be cutting the calls step by step. So if you want to join on before time actually runs out, go ahead and join the calls down there and I'll call you directly. Lastly, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. On top, I also destroy the like button and leave a comment down below, because basically it helps out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Lastly, also click my face right here, and the video right here. If you want to watch another video, see you guys tomorrow, guys. And as always, peace. And also, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, here's my Instagram right here. Almost forgot. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.